Thank you guys for tuning in to today's program. My name is Hira Maina, aka Kamuhunja. Now, today I'm here because of a story that I did around 4 months ago. It is a story that went viral both in Kenya and in abroad. People from US, people from UK, people from Saudi, Qatar, across the world. People really, gave their views regarding to that story. And it's a story of, no other than Pastor Amos. And this is a man of God who, came out and he reached to me. And, he confessed that what he was doing, to gain followers in his church, and of course to gain wealth, is to sacrifice people in his church. And apart from that, he also sacrificed his brother, he sacrificed the son, he sacrificed the mother. And it reached to a point where now he had to sacrifice now the son, and hell broke loose, and he felt like this was not the life that he wanted. And he came to Kamuhunja show and he heard his story, and people, talked about it and gave, their views. But now when this story was coming to an end, it is good, I've never talked about this story. I've never given out, my views in regards to this story. I've never given, I've never talked about it, just interviewing. But right now I'm talking, yes, as a journalist, but also as, a normal human being, Hira. The truth of the matter is I used to fear, and everybody would understand that. Because I want to start where it all began. I got a message from Facebook. That is around 5 months ago. And this account, it had no profile picture. It had no, any information. And somebody texted me, and he said, "Hi, I'm a pastor from Nyeri, and I have churches, all over Kenya. I have a branch in Nairobi, in Mombasa, and a new one in that he was starting in Nakuru." And he told me that I am in a cult, but I want to confess, and this will be like a series. And actually he said, I remember very well in that message, he said that if you do this story, I'm sure you will help so many people. And I was like, okay. I think I even asked my producer about it, and he said, why not? And then he told me to give him his number, to give him now my number. And then I sent him my number. And what he did is that after a few days he called, but he did not call me with, a number, a normal number. It was a number like, I remember there was a number that called me like 22653, a very weird number. And when I picked it, he told me, "Hey, it is, man of God from Nyeri. We talked this." And now I told him, okay. So he told me, "Can we have an interview?" First, I told him, yes, we can, but I'm the one to choose where we will, have that interview, because I was afraid that, this is somebody that has texted me on Facebook. I don't know, what he looks like. Am I safe? His Facebook account information is not even available. So I told him I'm the one who will choose a place that we will shoot, and he told me no problem, as long as that you will come alone. And I told him no. I always come with my team. I have a producer and he must be on set. And then he said, okay, no problem. Just tell me where. And then we planned, and I was like, I did not even believe that he will show up. But he did show up. After he told me his story, because I always ask people questions before I get to the show, before we roll. I always ask people, tell me more about your story. The things that he told me shocked me and terrified me. And I remember telling him, let me first go to the washroom. And then I told my producer to come with me. And then I asked him, are you sure that we should do this story? But my producer said, yeah, because this is not you, this is his story. And what you need to do is just do it as a professional. Be an interviewer, be a journalist, and do it. So I gained my courage, and we did our first interview, which went viral after that. And people were really, really shocked. But deep down, that man, he was remorseful. You could feel he was remorseful, and he wanted to change. And people know the story. I remember we also had another interview, and because the man wanted to be delivered, that was the key point why he was confessing, so that people can know, because he felt that the only good thing that he could do was to alert Kenyans about what happens in our churches. That was the main agenda, because he was telling me, Mr. Maina, that is how he always called me, Mr. Maina. There is a lot of deception in our churches. And because I am part of it, kindly allow me to enlighten people. Kindly allow me to tell people that they should pray for the spirit of discernment. And that is what he was talking about, the entire time. But after the interview, he told me that he will, give me a series until the day he will reveal his identity. And we all know what happened. He never revealed his identity because he was threatened by the bishops that, initiated him into the cult. And after I had that interview, I can tell you it has never been easy, especially that interview and the second one, because I used to get messages and people would tell me, don't air that story. And I was like, this person is not threatening me, but he's kind of warning me indirectly. And then I would tell, when we meet with Amos, I would tell him, and he would just say, people will always talk. So you cannot stop doing an interview because people are telling you not to air. And I remember even my spiritual fathers, they used to talk to me, they used to pray with me. I really, told people to pray, because that was not an easy task that was in my hand. And now, it reached to a point where now he came the second time. The main point is that I'm trying to tell people is that I have never called Pastor Amos like this and he answered my phone. I remember there is a number that he gave me for the second interview. And that number, he's the one actually who called. But I tried to call him again after that. And that number always disconnected itself. And after that, even the family member that came to the show, I'm sure you can remember, the brother came and the wife. They used to communicate through a private number. And after a while, that private number would disappear. I'm telling you, it is something that you cannot explain. These people, they never, come real. They never show you, what you want to know. And I'm sure people were asking, why can Kamuhunjia? Why are you allowing that man not to show his face? My friend, that he could not have allowed it. Actually, the first interview, I thought I was showing his face. I thought we were doing a normal interview. Only that, he came and he told me his story, and he told me, now, I don't want to show my face, so you have to hide my identity and change my voice. But I will show you my face later on. But things changed along the way. He got threatened, and I think maybe the family came in, and they decided now that Pastor Amos is unwell, he cannot come to the show. And they say they will not disclose the church or the identity of their man of God, that is the husband and the brother to now the brother that came to the show. So for me, it has never been easy. And the moment that I thought that story had finished, and we had come to the conclusion, because if you can remember the last episode that we had, it was that Pastor Amos' wife came to the show, and she gave us a closure. And after Pastor Amos' death, she said very well that the husband died. The brother confirmed that the brother has died, and he was in hospital, and he always wanted to be delivered, but unfortunately he did not get delivered. But what they were saying is that they were happy because his end days, at least he was talking about God, and that was what was making them happy, knowing that he died, yes, knowing that there is God, and everything was well. But after doing that interview, and we closed that chapter of Pastor Amos, actually I tried to call that number again, because they said they will alert me when they will be conducting the burial. I waited, I tried all I could to reach them, but I was not able to. And I'm sure people who do humanitarian stories, they can tell you the hassle that people go through doing these stories. People can tell you that you might, especially such stories, you might be wanting, I might want to bring you a comprehensive story, calling the person that I'm interviewing, calling the family and telling them, you know what, invite me to that burial, let me show these people, this burial, how it is being conducting. They were saying that the cult, they wanted to conduct that burial. Let me be there so that I can at least get some footage, so that I can show my viewer, so they can at least feel they were part of the burial, because I was your eye in that story. I tried to reach them, but I could not. The phone was disconnecting. The only number that I had was disconnecting up to today. I think it was just a number that they used, and it was closed. That is why I've never reached them, because I don't know how to explain it. So I just say it is okay now. I remember I told my producer, because I cannot reach them, we'll just come to the end of that show, because I don't have any more news to tell people. And people used to ask me about Pastor Amos. Was he buried? Did you confirm that he was buried? And I could tell them no, because I am not reaching them. The family blocked. You get my point? So yeah, and life moved on. But now, there are some things, there were people who were really questioning if Pastor Amos is really dead. People used to question. I could get people and ask me, are you sure, Kamunji, that pastor died? But I did not have a concrete evidence to show that he died and he was buried. And basically, as Hiram, this one I say as Hiram, my views, because today I said I will be talking also about my views. Personally, I felt like I did not believe. Actually, I was shocked that Pastor Amos has died. But again, I did not talk to him after he got unwell. Again, the family have confirmed that he is dead. Can you even doubt? After the family, the wife, they have confirmed that he is dead. Who who was I to say no? I think we need to get to the to the bottom of this issue, because the family has confirmed. So I was left in my, even if I had some doubt, I was left, I have to believe it because the family has confirmed that he is normal. And that is what I did, and life moved on. 5 months later, I got a message last week on around Thursday. Was it last week? Around like a few days ago. And this message was on Facebook. Actually, I always, keep checking my messengers because there are job opportunities that I get through my Facebook page. And I got a message, and this Facebook page, the name that is the name that is there, it is called Facebook user. The person that texted me, his name is Facebook user, as you can see there. I've shown you there, Facebook user. That is what Facebook is called. So there is no name. So when I open that message and I will read, this is a message that I got, and this really shocked me, and I was like, what is happening? It is saying, "Hi Mr. Maina, it is Pastor Amos." You can imagine the shock that I received after I read that message. "Kindly forgive me for lying to you. I am alive and delivered. Can we do an interview and I will explain more, and please no face. Please, man of God." As you can see down there, I replied and asked, and I said, "What? Kindly call me," using my number, because I was shocked. I was like, is this, I wanted to verify, because maybe this is somebody that is playing with my mind, and so I had to verify. So I left him my number. I waited for the call. He never called. You see, I don't have his number, so I cannot call because I don't know who to call. So I waited. Now, 2 days later, I received a call, private number. Automatically, because those private number there, I always know that this is him. I received. But I'm telling you, I was shocked, because I had, "Mr. Maina, Bwana sifiwe." That is what he said. And I remembered his voice. So that is Pastor Amos. So I asked him, "So it is true, you are alive?" And he told me, "Yes, I am alive. And Mr. Maina, I'm very sorry for what happened, but I had to do that. I had to ensure that this was not an issue to Kenyans, because I had to be delivered before, anything else. And the only thing that I could have done was to go away from the media." But now I asked him, "Why did you send the family?" And he said, "I had to do it because we were in danger, and our life was, threatened. And currently I'm delivered and I am well." And then I asked him, "But now why lie to Kenyans? Why say that you are dead when you are not dead? I wish you could have disappeared and then return, rather than saying that you are dead and then now coming to me and saying that you are alive." Because for me it was very sad, because now how can you, I wish you could have just disappeared the way you always disappear, rather than now coming to Kenyans and saying and sending even family members and playing us. That was very unfair. And of course then he said, "I am sorry, I wish I can explain more. Kindly plan an interview so that we can talk, and I will explain more of what has happened during those months." And now he told me, kindly let us meet around 3 days, I think 3 days from now. And then I told him it is okay, you will call me. So now what I'm waiting, I have an interview with him tomorrow, but I don't know if he will show up. But because he has called and he has reached out, I'm sure there's something that he wants to say. And that is why I've decided, before I interview him, first I have to let you know what has happened, so that you can also be able to understand, so that I cannot, I cannot bring him to the show just like that. It is not professional. I have to tell you and alert you what has happened, what has changed. Because I cannot just bring him and tell you, this is, no. I had to explain to everybody watching across, the country, across the world, so that you can be able to understand and know why I'm doing this. And so I will post this, but I will also post the one, exclusive interview with him around, maybe 3 days from now, because there's also some editing that has to be made. So guys, that is it. That is what I wanted to tell you. And please, I wish people can really pray, because people need to have spirit of discernment. Let us pray, because with prayer you can never be deceived. There will always be a spirit, a conscience telling you that this is wrong and this is right. Don't ask people where you should go to church. Don't ask people that is this man a man of God, is he a true man of God. Don't. Please, I beg of you, pray and seek your God, and don't wait for your pastor to pray for you. Pray for yourself. For Christians, Jesus died on the cross so that you can go through him and you shall see the Father. If you pray to Jesus, you will see God. Don't wait for another person to pray for you. I'm not saying that a pastor should not pray for you, but first pray, and you will be able to tell what is right and what is wrong, what spirit is wrong and what spirit is right. That is what I can advise you as we wait for that interview. So God bless you all, and may he enlarge your territories.